Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and we are pleased to be joined by Kobe Lambeth of the Podium Finish and is also my teammate on Grid Network. How's it going?
It's going well, Casey. How are you doing? Hope you enjoyed your holidays.
I did, and hope you did as well, and hope everyone enjoyed the holidays. I know we're getting pretty close to the end of 2022, and what a big year it has been in the world of motorsports, and a big year for Grid Network as well. Just to see a lot of the things that have been going there, and from what I've been told, it looks like Grid Network's got some big plans for next year.
Yeah, definitely. Great Network has big plans for next year. We're gonna try to continue to build upon what we've been trying to grow, and it's really crazy because we started this back in May 2020, just me and Joe, just a two-person team. Now we have like over 10 people at Great Network, and hope to keep growing and keep growing, so I can catch all of my friends over at the Podium Finish. Right before we have like 30 to 40 people over there at the Podium Finish and Grid Network. Hopefully, we'll keep adding as the years goes on. It's just remarkable, Casey, what we've been able to do from 2020. And I think this hopefully a story I'll be able to tell people about someday as we turn Grid Network into a successful motorsports meet alley, going from a two-person team, just me and Joe every other night. To having a lot of talent within the Grid Network team. Hopefully in 2023, we want to get more people to race instead of just going to Portland. We have big plans to go to other races as well, and stay tuned to find out which races those will be.
Yeah. And of course, if people know which races I'm going to, it's very similar to what my schedule was last year, plus a few new ones. We'll discuss those plans and I'll obviously reveal them once the Grid Encore show comes back. Should be around Speed Weeks. I've heard that might be back as
Yeah.
well. So let's talk about some things that are kind of going on in the motorsports world right now. Just a lot of announcements have been made throughout there. I'm going to start in the truck series, and if you, obviously, I know you talked about on the last grid tonight about Haley Deegan switching over from going to ThorSport, and then they just switched all over to Ford. So, and I think someone said that Ford kind of needed to be a bigger presence in the truck series, and oh boy, did they respond. And now I think there's going to be at least six of them out there. Of course, AM Racing will also be a Ford team along with Front Row Motorsports and of course the four ThorSport trucks. But what do you think about Haley Deegan and her expectations? What are you kind of looking at with that?
And as I said on a last episode of Grit Tonight, I think that Ford Performance has given Haley Deegan every opportunity to be successful. And I know typically when a driver doesn't perform after 1 year, kind of like in other sports, you have your first round quarterback go out there in the field to drop a complete egg year one, and we're like ready to move on, kind of like what's going on with New York Jets quarterback right now, Zach Wilson. And just believe it's his second year in the league, and it looks like the Jets are ready to can him. And you can apply this to motorsports as well. First year you can kind of give them a break, just trying to learn the series and all of that. And year two, as well, looking at Haley Deegan's situation in year two, we saw slight improvement in certain aspects, but not nearly enough what people would see, especially since her teammate Ryan Preece, whenever he jumped in that number 17 Ford, Preece looked really, really good. So you couldn't really necessarily say, that the equipment was the issue. And going to ThorSport in 2023, that this is a great opportunity for Haley Deegan because ThorSport, they've been switching back and forth manufacturers in recent years. They've had a lot of success with Ford, and they know how to put together a top tier program that can go out there and win championships as they've done in recent years. And the pairing with Rich Lucius, I think that's very exciting because all the success he had with Ben Rose. And Ben Rose is probably disappointed to lose Rich Lucius, but in my opinion, he's the best crew chief they have in the ThorSport stable. So when you factor in the success, the championship winning pedigree that ThorSport has, Rich Lucius, a championship winning crew chief, his experience, the equipment that she's going to be in is probably going to be one of the top in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2023. So I think that Ford is making sure they give Haley Deegan everything she needs to be successful. In 2023 is going to be a make or break year for her career. She's going to have to get results. She's going to have to improve significantly from what we've seen so far. I'm not saying that she needs to go out there, and win a race or two or all of that, but certainly like to see an uptick in the top tens. Like to see some top fives as well. and also throughout the race, I think it'll be really important for her to run in the top 10 throughout for several races without falling out. And as far as playoff expectations go, I'm not going to necessarily say I think Haley Deegan should make the playoffs as a major expectation, but I think if she's at least in the hunt of making the playoffs, I think that would be a reasonable goal for her in year 3 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
I'm glad you said Craftsman because, of course, a few weeks ago, Nathan, when we had Nathan on, I think he said Camping World a few times. So we all got to get used to that. So
Yeah.
well, I want to talk about another truck team with you, Tricon Garage. They're going to be, I believe, 5 trucks for next year. Of course, one will be full of multiple drivers, but likely it's Dean Thompson in the 5, Corey Heim in the 11, Tanner Gray in the 15, Taylor Gray in the 17. Obviously, Taylor won't be in there until COTA when he turns 18. But that's a 5-truck team, and it looks like that's the kind of the premier Toyota team, and obviously they'll still have Halmar Friesen Racing, which will still be Toyotas. Don't really know what their plans. Obviously, Stuart Friesen will be back. Who knows if Lane Riggs is going to get the full funding that he needs. And then there's also going to be Hattori Racing. Obviously, they haven't announced their plans yet, but it looks like I've been told they're likely may have 1 truck for next year is what I have been gathering so far. But overall, what do you think about Toyota's kind of lineup for next year in trucks?
Well, well, looking at Toyota's past success in trucks, it's gonna be extremely difficult to replace. Kyle Busch Motorsports is gonna be switching over to Chevrolet next year, 2023. And I don't really know how you can replace Kyle Busch Motorsport because they were the epitome, and the ultimate gold standard of excellence in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's really good that Ford was able, I mean, not Ford. I mean, it was good for Toyota to be able to come back with the team formerly known as David Gilliland Racing and to form Tricon Garage and looking at the driver lineups they have there. I think they have a pretty good lineup. Got the Gray brothers. Saw some improvement from Tanner Gray in 2022. He'll hopefully build on that in 2023. His brother Taylor Gray. I think he has potential to be a future star in NASCAR. Taylor Gray has a lot of talent, lots of upside. Excited to see what he can do as he continues to develop. I was actually very surprised to see Dean Thompson join this team because it was like an announcement that comes straight out of left field for me. I know Dean raced with Nice Motorsports. It was a really tough season for Nice all across the board, but going to top tier equipment for Dean Thompson is going to be a great opportunity for him to show that he belongs in this at this level of NASCAR racing. Corey Haim, we already know what he can do. He's already won races. Looked very competitive when he drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports and also as well with Venturini in the ARCA Menard series. So I think Corey Haim is certainly gonna be the lead driver there. I'm really looking forward to see what Tricon Garage can do, but it's gonna be very, very difficult to meet the same level of expectations that Kyle Busch Motorsports had.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and obviously more details in the truck series and also the Xfinity series will be announced in the coming weeks. And I've also heard some ARCA team news will be out in the next few weeks as well, leading into the test, the Road to Daytona test, which is coming up in just a few weeks. So definitely we're gonna have some ARCA things to talk about. So I might have to make some appearances on Grid tonight. So let's talk about ARCA for a second. And this is weird, me asking you an ARCA question because most of the time, many people on Grid are asking me. But the TV deal with Fox, and FS1 and FS2, having all 20 races on there, and from people that I've talked to in the series, it's it is basically I've been told this is a game changer for this series. And of course, this is from when I talked with ARCA PR director Charlie Kral. This is something that I know the series is really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, it's really exciting for ARCA to be able to get this this TV deal for 2023, and I know Mav TV when ARCA race has been on there in the past is not in everyone's household. I had it in my household
I did
for
too.
many years actually, but for some reason this year got Mav TV cut, which was super unfortunate. I'm disappointed, probably not gonna be able to watch the Chili Bowl this year I'm mad. Well, next year in 2023. Well, next year's just only a few days away. But
Yep.
but you get what I'm saying. I think it's really important for all of these races to be on Fox Sports, whether it's FS1 or FS2. And I know FS2 is not in everyone's household as well, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes there. But anytime you're able to get ARCA on television, that's a really good thing rather than just being online behind a paywall on streaming. Because I know during this time right now we're still having issues with inflation, with the economy and all of that, and people have to pick and choose how they spend their money, and that's to spend it wisely. And paying for a streaming service might be something that they either can't do or they need to limit and choose which ones they want to pay for.
Well, of course, 10 of those races will also be on Flow Racing as part of their contract with ARCA. And also, all the ARCA East and ARCA West races will remain on Flow Racing, per their announcements. So that's going to be exciting. And you can watch the entire Chili Bowl live on Flow Racing. So that's going to be fun there. I actually just re-up my subscription with them for the year. So it's going to be a big year in 2023 for ARCA. And obviously, not many announcements have came out about ARCA, but obviously they'll be coming out in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to my Twitter and also to Grid, because I'm going to be reacting to a lot of them. So let's talk about the Alpha Prime Racing. They actually had an announcement today. Leland Honeyman Jr. is actually going to be running some races for that team. And you may be asking, who's Leland Honeyman Jr.? Well, he ran the ARCA East Series with Young's Motorsports last year. He also ran in the Bristol Truck Race as well. And it's a pretty stout lineup they got at Alpha Prime Racing. They're going to 3 cars this year. I know Sage Karam and Ryan Ellis are going to be in a majority of those races, and of course Jeffrey Earnhardt's full time in the 44 car. But what do you think about Alpha Prime Racing heading into the 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series season?
Like, wow, Alpha Prime is showing us they're very serious. Have quite a stat lineup. Great opportunity for Jeffrey Earnhardt to get another full time opportunity in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sage Karam, he as we know, he lost his Indy 500 only ride with Dreyer and Rumble, and he plans to increase his presence in NASCAR in 2023. So gonna be excited to see what Sage is going to be able to do in more races. I've already been impressed what he's already been able to do in the Xfinity races that he's run in the last couple of years or so. Ryan Ellis has done some great things as well. We've really been working hard to get these opportunities to be running a handful of races with Alpha Prime and Leland Honeyman, another young driver out there who's looking to make his name in stock car racing. Was able to run ARCA East in 2022, and now moving up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And we saw this year Alpha Prime that worked with 2 other young drivers, Howie DeSavino and Roger Caruth. It really seems like that team is growing in numbers. Obviously, going to be running 3 cars in 2023. But whenever a team expands, you always wonder, are they doing it too soon? Because sometimes when you see a team expand too soon, it really hurts their performance. Kind of like we saw with JD Motorsports. I remember when they were overachieving a lot, then they expanded to all those cars, and then we saw JD Motorsports drop off in performance a lot. So I'm going to be watching to see if Alpha Prime is going to continue to be on the upswing, or it could expand into another car, potentially hurt them.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to see. That's the great anomaly with teams expanding. So, but yeah, I think Alpha Prime Racing is it'll be very interesting to see how they do as a 3-car team. Another question I want to ask you is Big Machine Racing. Of course, it was announced a few months ago that Parker Kligerman was going to be full time in the 48. Talk with Parker before Thanksgiving. As always, he just seems really excited about this opportunity. But what do you expect from Big Machine Racing in 2023?
I think Parker Kligerman is going to make the playoffs. I think he's going to win 1 or 2 races. But before we get to the postseason of the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year, this is such an exciting time for Parker Kligerman. It's been a while since he's been able to run full time in a NASCAR series. We all know the talent that Parker Kligerman had, but as we know, it comes down to funding and all of that. And at one point, a lot of people forget Parker Kligerman was a development driver for Team Penske. So Parker Kligerman knows how to drive a race car. If Parker in his limited opportunities, he's been able to overachieve and do some pretty incredible things. That was quite a battle earlier this year at Mid Ohio between him and Zane Smith. Some real clean racing there from those drivers, and that win by Parker. It showed. He can get the job done, and big machine racing for him to get the opportunity with Scott Borchetta's operation. I think Parker Kligerman is destined for big things in 2023. Such a great opportunity and equipment that can win. We saw that with Tyler Reddick at Texas in the Xfinity race.
Yeah, and I was at that Mid Ohio race. What a race to be at! So that was fun, and I'm excited to go back down there again. Um, it'll be fun down at Mid Ohio. That's a good little short track. Well, it's a road course, but acts like a short track. So there you go. Let's talk about 2023 as the new year comes along. What are some of the things that you're excited about in 2023 on the motorsports calendar?
Oh well, Casey, it's gonna be a really busy year on the motorsports calendar in 2023. It's actually gonna be a lot busier than it was in 2022 and a lot longer. Whereas it's gonna be if you're a motorsports enthusiast, it's gonna be like racing heaven for you. I know in just a few weeks' time we're gonna get our coverage started. Right now we got Formula E coming up for the Mexico City E Prix. Really excited to see the new generation Formula E cars work and see how this is able to go. I understand they had a little bit of development problems at test, and hopefully they'll have those all sorted out before the season opener of the Formula E World Championship season. But the big thing that I'm really looking forward to at the beginning of the season is the Rolex 24 at Daytona. IMSA is going to be entering a brand new era with the GTP class. Got the LMDH Le Mans Daytona hybrid cars. Unfortunately, not going to have any Le Mans hypercars from the World Endurance Championship, but hopefully we'll see one of those later on in 2023, or more likely 2024. I expect to see a Ferrari on the high banks of Daytona and a prototype in 2024, but focus on 2023 first. I'm very excited, to see what Acura, BMW, Cadillac, and Porsche are able to do with their beautiful new prototypes. The cars all sound amazing, look amazing. Really excited to see the GTP name back in IMSA. If you follow sports car racing and know the history about the glory days of North American sports car racing, GTP is a name you know well, and people like me, I heard a lot about the GTP era and how awesome it was. And hopefully we'll be living through our new golden era prototype racing, with IMSA returning to the GTP name, and for the Rolex 24 got 60 car entry list, and we actually had like well over 60 cars enter the Rolex 24, but unfortunately, due to space, IMSA couldn't allow all of those cars to race. So IMSA had a reserve list. It just goes to show you where things are going right now in sports car racing. There are so many cars that are entered for this twice round the clock endurance class that they have to put out a reserve list. And if anybody on the current entry list drops out, then the next car can go on. We have I believe they're gonna be like 9-ish GTP cars. Then we got LMP2s, LMP3s, 8 cars as of now in GTD Pro, and then a whole bunch of GTD cars. Really looking forward to IMSA, then and also looking forward to the NASCAR Cup Series and seeing what year 2 is gonna look like with the next gen car into TND Car Series. Always exciting. Looking forward to see what Alexander Rossi can do at Arrow McLaren SB, and Kyle Kirkwood, his second year in the IndyCar Series, moving over to Andretti Autosport from AJ Fort Racing. There are a whole bunch of things to keep up in IndyCar, and then other series as well. Supercars are going to be entering a brand new era as well, with the Chevrolet Camaro replacing the Holden Commodore. And can Shane Van Gisbergen and keep up the dominance? I know sometimes when we see a regulations change, we also see a change in the parity as well. I know as a spectator of the Repco Supercars Championship, I'd really love to see an increase in parity where Shane Van Gisbergen isn't winning all the time. We can actually see a real battle for the championship. But knowing AAA, they're gonna be coming out of the shop with a really fast pair of Red Bull sponsored Chevrolet Camaros. Yeah, just across motorsports, is really excited for it all. But at the same time, Casey, I've really enjoyed the break and the downtime, because doing a little too much, you can kind of get burnt out. I don't know if that's the same with you.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, if you've seen the channel, we had a lot of racers on. So yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks. Been an interesting few weeks for me, but I'm excited for 2023 and really excited to see what we got going at Grid. And I know that I know Grid tonight's going to be back as we got ready for the Rolex 24. Coming up in the few weeks, we got the Chili Bowl coming up, and yeah, it all starts again. It should be fun. Well, Kobe, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us, and we'll best of luck in 2023, and we'll definitely have you on again sometime.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate it. I'd love to be back.